Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, Therapist in the Wild. And today you are watching a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. Today we are reviewing Euphoria Season 2, Episode 2, Out of Touch, and we are sipping on, did y'all know that Simply Lemonade had a pina colada flavor? Yes, it tastes decent. It's decent. And it's with vodka. Pina colada with vodka. Yes, yes. The alcohol stays the same. The juices change. Yes. See, I'm a vodka bitch. Yes. Okay, so this episode was just kind of like we were getting into the season now. We're getting into the what may happen later on in the season. Something to notice is I'm going to take it by each character because there's so many characters that going by blow through the whole episode, my brain does not have the energy for all of that. So we're going to start with Nate because that's who started off the episode. Then we're just going to go down the line till we get to the two main characters, Jules and Rue again. Yes. In this episode, Nate is showing us his true sociopath. He got his ass beat. He was in the hospital. He's developed this fantasy around Cassie because Cassie is she's a people pleaser with low self-esteem who has trouble saying no. So he has built this sociopathic, narcissistic fantasy around her, saying that she's the perfect woman. And, at first, he makes it seem like, oh, maybe I have a concussion in the hospital. But no, later on as the show progresses, we see that, no, he believes in this fantasy. And that's why he's fucking her behind Maddie's back. Yes. So he has built up this fantasy in his head that Cassie is easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl, won't question him, won't get mad at him, won't argue with him. It may even represent the relationship his dad has with his mom. We don't see much of his mom in these shows, but it wouldn't be far-fetched that his dad married a passive woman that just allows him to do things and looks the other way. Would not be far-fetched at all. There's a generational trauma there. So he thinks she's just this, she's just amazing and magical. And if I had met her in the 10th grade, these children, 10th grade, yes, honey. If I had met her in the 10th grade instead of Maddie, we would have had a magnificent relationship. Still not embracing the fact that he may be a full gay man, queer, by something that is not fully into women. So he's having this fever dream during his, little pass out moment. Then he goes home, and I thought he contacted Cassie when he was on the phone with her, looking at his phone like, oh, why is she texting me or whatever? But no, Cassie contacted him. So Cassie is addicted to the funk. She has met the boss of manipulators. So she's been through the lower levels of the video game of manipulative fuckboys that have taken advantage of her. Now she is at the big boss, the sociopathic, narcissistic, big boss. And she has no power to have any kind of boundaries or self-worth with this man. She thinks it doesn't even seem like she's in love. It seems more like she's addicted, which is what trauma bonds are. You're addicted to another human being, chemical addiction to the cycle of abuse into the honeymoon period. Dopamine rushes when we get into the honeymoon period. So, yeah. So she's contacting him. She wants to meet up with him. And, he meets up with her. He meets up with Cassie. Maddie is calling while he's riding around with Cassie to some undisclosed place. She's asking him, where are we going? What are we doing? He's just like, just be quiet, like a serial killer would. I thought he was going to murder her. He has yet to cross the threshold of murder. So I'll give him that. He hasn't killed anybody yet, even though he's giving off I want to kill people vibes, all the things. And he just is taking her to some construction site that's empty just to tell her that he can't do things with her because Maddie would be so upset that she would spend the rest of her life trying to kill him, but she would actually kill Cassie, and Cassie's having flashbacks. She feels bad, but she still wants to be a part of this, whatever it is with Nate. Nate is just fully taking advantage of it, whatever. So Cassie gets mad when Nate tells her that he only wants to be with Maddie. She runs out the car into the construction area. He runs after her to make sure that she doesn't hurt herself. I was really just mentally like, just leave her there. She'll be fine. She'll probably sleep there till morning. It's a nice little white neighborhood. She'll be fine. If you really meant what you were saying, just leave her there. But he goes after her and they fuck in some abandoned house. And it is just like, it's so toxic. It's gross. It's just like, ew. And Cassie is just lost. She is a lost child in this. I hate myself. This man is acting like he cares about me. So I'm just going to go with it. He tells me what to do. I don't have to think. It is what it is. And I'm just like, Cassie, girl, if only she had a mother who wasn't an alcoholic to pay attention to what she's going through and put her fucking ass in some good therapy. Good trauma-based therapy. But it is what it is with Cassie. Meanwhile, Nate's dad is trying to figure out who beat Nate's ass. So he's going around interviewing Cassie and Maddie. Cassie snitches on Fez. So that's a whole nother thing. We'll get to that when we get to Fez. Maddie. Wait, no, Lexi. He goes and interviews Cassie and Lexi. I keep getting these names. There's so many names. You better be glad this show is good that I can sit here and remember the actual names of this. This is hard. If it wasn't a good show, if these characters didn't leave a mark, I would just be like, this is hard. Anyways, that is the closing scene on Cassie and Nate. We'll just leave them two. And then when we get to Fez, we'll talk about Nate's dad and that whole situation. So, what else? Maddie is discovering she's in a trauma bond. She is trying to call Nate. She wants to be able to take care of Nate. She was just so upset that Nate got his ass beat. She really just wanted to spend the night at the hospital there with him. She's also still in this fantasy of being the trophy wife. She babysits these little rich kids and then she tries on the parents' clothes, and I'm just like, see, because crevices leave stains on things, and yes, people wash their clothes, but at the same time, when you have a piece of clothing on and you put it on and then you put it back in the closet because you tried it on, pit residue, vaginal sweats and things, like I don't like sharing clothes. Unless you've thoroughly washed my shit after you've tried it on and worn it. No, because women have their own smells and body odors that are just, that come around their period. Women can smell really bad. That's why that's probably a part of why women are so focused on hygiene. And also the patriarchy making us feel like, underarm smells and vaginal smells are just the most horrible thing in the world. When it's natural, it's a crevice, it's going to sweat. You just shower. Don't make people feel bad about it. But, I don't share clothes. So watching her put on that woman's clothes and those expensive clothing items and then throwing them back in the closet when she comes home, I was just like, Maddie girl. She wants to be a trophy wife. She wants to get there through a man. She doesn't want to work for herself and build up herself or whatever. So it is what it is. But yeah, she's in a full trauma bond. She even admits it to Jules when they go bowling that she's looking at Kat and Ethan and she's just like, they seem so perfectly matched. I just could not imagine myself without a little drama in the relationship. I just could not imagine so much peace and serenity. And that's why you don't put other people on pedestals, because you don't know what the fuck's really going on in the relationship. You don't really know how they're feeling and or anything. But Maddie's in a full trauma bond. She's addicted to the chaos that is Nate. She feels that is normal at this point. She has normalized trauma. And this is what she's telling Jules. And Jules is just like, well, maybe we're just, everyone's different. Jules not equipped for this. Because Jules is over here, we'll get to Jules. But Jules is not the person you be talking to, Maddie. You need to go to therapy. Everyone needs therapy. Everybody. Trauma-based therapy. So Maddie is basically in this like little bond with Nate, and she can't let him go. And she wants to get back with him. That's where we're leaving Maddie off with. And it's just like, I know, Maddie. I know, girl, you've been in such an abusive relationship for so long. This is normal. This is bread and butter to you. And anything good is just frighteningly scary, because good things rug could be pulled out from under me at any moment. And I can't control that. But I know this evil over here that'll hit me in the face and call me names. That's the evil I know. I can expect that. But if you're nice to me for too long, I could start trusting that, and then all of a sudden you could just be mean to me. And it's like, no, girl. No, girl. Just like when people show you patterns of negativity, they can also show you patterns of positivity to let you know that they're a positive person. You just got to believe that people that show you patterns of positivity consistently show you those patterns are decent people. But, it is what it is. And they're teenagers. They're supposed to be teenagers. So teenagers don't even realize. That's why they need to be in therapy, because they don't even realize what all this stuff is and why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. No one's talking to them. There's no adult around to monitor. Some of them have decent parents and they're just not talking to their parents. Some of them have neglectful parents. It is what it is. Lexi is over here, coming to this point of, because she's been very passive.
She hated herself for being so weak and passive and afraid.
And she, when Nate's dad came over to interrogate her and Cassie, she was just mad that Cassie snitched, because, she has this thing for Fez, and she has this thing for him being a bad boy, because this is how she's going to break out of her shell, because apparently she has been very passive and never spoken up and never set boundaries. She blames herself for the fact that Rue overdosed, because she caught Rue doing drugs at one point, and then a few days later, I'm assuming, Rue overdoses, and she threatened to tell Rue's mom when she caught her doing drugs, but she didn't, because Cassie has trouble with speaking up, advocating, and setting boundaries for herself. So this situation with Fez, she thinks that she's going to go and tell Fez about Nate's dad, and it doesn't necessarily work out that way. We'll get to her and Fez's situation when we get to Fez. It's just, Kat. See, we didn't really get an idea of what was going on with Kat in the first episode. I was just like, oh, well, they look happy. And then at the end, Kat's just standing there with that, like, dazed expression. You didn't know if she was high. You didn't know what was going on in her mind. Kat wants to be fucked raw by some big dick nigga. Now, if that was the only thing that was, the thing she wanted, and she wanted someone that was more aggressive and because a lot of tall women, a lot of tall, big women want a big man that'll just make them feel like the dainty lady that they feel like on the inside. Some of them, not all. And just throw them around, just be a little aggressive, but still consensual with it. You know what I mean? So I don't see anything wrong with her little fantasy. I mean, except for the fact that in her fantasy, the dude stabbed Ethan. But that, death in fantasies and in dreams can be a metaphor for other things. So we're not even going to go into that. It can be a metaphor for change. The tarot cards, the death card is like a metaphor for some big change is going to come and happen in your life. And it may be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's going to be a big old change. Transition in your life, things like that. So I wouldn't necessarily say that was like, oh, she wants Ethan dead. No, she just wants a big dick nigga that's big and brawny to just come and take the fuck out of her. Don't we all? Consensually, of course. But no, on top of that, I loved how they did this scene. She's being bombarded with toxic positivity everywhere. Really, she just feels sad and shitty, and she's wondering why she can't accept Ethan, because Ethan is a good guy. So add that to it, and it's just like, okay. She is also, used to chaos. People being mean to her putting her down for her looks, feeling negative about herself. You can't just tell somebody to feel better when they feel shitty. You have to validate the fact that they feel shitty. Yeah, you feel shitty, girl. Let's feel shitty together, and then we can like work through it together. That's what therapy's for. We work through it together step by step. You have to actively want to change, and then just like exercising the body, you got to exercise your emotions. You have to pick up practices and skills that you practice over and over again, like mantras and meditations and reading, and you got to give yourself grace. You can't shame yourself, and that's what toxic positivity does. They surrounded her with all these YouTubers that were just like, you can do it, girl, you are a bad bitch, girl. And it's just like, okay, that's nice, but I still feel shitty after you say that. Like, it doesn't make me feel better. No, you have to first embrace the fact that you feel shitty. This is normal because my life has been kind of shitty. This is normal for me to feel shitty, so I'm going to take my time and heal. I'm going to validate the shit feeling that I feel, and then I'm going to take my time and heal through therapy and through, being open about how I feel and taking time to myself when I feel overwhelmed and acknowledging the triggers that make me feel overwhelmed and things like that. But she doesn't know that because she's not in therapy. I don't care. I'm going to keep saying it because all these people, all they need is therapy. They need to go to therapy. They need to find them a good therapist to work through this shit. So that is the solution here for everyone, except for maybe Nate. It's hard to work with people that have personality disorders because that's how they view the world. Personality disorder is, this is my personality. When I go outside, the sky is green to me. I don't care what you think. The sky looks green to me. Mental health is just something you have. Like, you can have a personality disorder and then have depression on top of that, but you still understand that, there is a good place that you could possibly get to if you work through it, if possible. Personality disorders, that is a set of behaviors that you have grown into over time to believe, as far as that is how the world is structured, and there's nothing and no one that can deter you from that belief. You can pretend because you don't want to get in trouble. That's the consequences are what make the people that have personality disorders want to, like, let's pretend. And that's what therapy is for people with personality disorders, except for borderline. Borderline is different. Borderline can be healed because, borderline comes from a lot of studies are showing that borderline comes from trauma, and the major foundation of borderline personality disorder is abandonment issues, and there's various different types of and I did a video on borderline personality disorder. It's somewhere, you can look, it's in there somewhere. And the major thing about borderline is that you can have the people that like manipulate you in a messed up way just to keep you with them. You can have people that get hysterical to keep you with them. You can have people that mimic narcissistic behaviors just to keep you with them. They just want you to stay with them. And but that can be worked through. I've seen people heal from borderline and work through it. Just because you have borderline personality disorder doesn't mean that you don't have empathy for people, which is a big sign when you have cluster B personality disorders. And those personality disorders, a big factor there is people lack empathy. They don't recognize and sometimes don't even care about how they impact other people. They are just focused solely on themselves. A lot of studies are showing that cluster B tends to be like, based off of trauma as well. This is the survival skill that people developed during trauma, is I have to focus on myself, and I have to focus on myself in order to survive. And so, with Nate though, Nate got that sociopathic narcissism. So, sociopathy is like, I feel nothing most of the time, so I have to do fuck shit to entertain myself. With the narcissistic piece, I want to be known. I want my exploits to be known. I want to be out there in the world. I want people to see me. I want the attention from the shit that I'm doing to people. So Nate wants the attention from being the football player and all this other stuff, but at the same time, he wants to do manipulative, hurtful things. And he doesn't see people as people. Like with Cassie, he doesn't see her as a person. He sees her as an object that, because she never says no, she's perfect for him. He even pedestalized her in this whole fantasy about how she would be the perfect girlfriend because she doesn't argue, she doesn't say no, she doesn't. It's just like So when it comes to Kat is out here, she has a mental health disorder that can be worked through and cleansed. All these characters do. They need to go to therapy. So I'm going to keep mentioning it throughout this whole season. Why are they in therapy? This is solvable stuff. These are work throughable things. So with Kat, she's just being bombarded by toxic positivity, and she can't embrace the fact that this is who I am. I get depressed. I don't like myself. I don't know how to deal with positive people in my life or a positive partner. Just embracing all those things. Because once you admit the issue, then it's easier for you to want to go get help from it. But with toxic positivity, it wants you to skip over admitting the issue and just go straight to the I'm a bad bitch. Like, no, you have to work up to feeling like a bad bitch. So I love that scene where they were just surrounding her, bombarding her, because that's what we see all the time. All these memes and YouTubers and things like that are telling us, oh, you're a bad bitch. You can do it. You can do it. And it's like, I don't feel like it, but I guess it's nice for you to say. I don't know, but I'm still gonna go home and hate myself. So, So, like I said, if her fantasy was the only thing, then that would just be like, that's cool, but you shouldn't be with Ethan if that's what you want. A healthy person would probably have a fantasy like that, and then go after dudes that are like that. Not be with somebody that's not like that. So someone with not that great mental health is with somebody that she doesn't vibe with necessarily, and she's with this person knowing that he's a good person, because she knows she deserves goodness on some level, but at the same time she doesn't like herself, so it's added to that. So it's just kind of like those two things. I don't like myself, so I think I need to be mistreated. Not I like myself and I want to get fucked hard. No, it's not. So, and something interesting is that when they were at the bowling alley, Ethan was looking all weird and jealous in the face when Kat was taking pictures with Maddie and Jules, and he was just looking all why is she over there, So he may turn out to be one of them nice boy fuck boys that are just I'm a nice guy, but I'm also controlling and have issues too. So let's see how that fleshes itself out. Let me see. Fez. I'm trying to make sure I get all the characters that were the main people. Fez is out here, he's running his shop. We didn't see that much of him. He's running his shop. He's at the store, and then Lexi comes. Fez is okay, now I remember. Fez has taken in Faye, the heroin girl from the first episode. Because apparently Faye was with her dude at a motel and pushed the motel manager over the banister. Now the police are looking for her. So the drug dude that's Fez's friend asked if Faye could stay at his house. And, Fez is a nice person. Just because you sell drugs and do, hood rat shit doesn't mean that you can't be a nice person. Fez is a nice person. He lets her stay at his house. And he's not a rapey person. She was in there, doped up on heroin, passed out. He didn't rape her. He just gently put her on the couch and covered her with a blanket. So he's a nice, gentle person. He just, don't cross his ass, because he's still from the street and he will whoop the shit out you and damn near kill you. So, I think he's feeling this type of way by having to have Faye over there. Ash, his brother, just does not like the fact that that bitch is over there. He's upset. He hasn't talked to Fez in a minute. He's decided that he's not going to talk to Fez because he doesn't want that bitch in their house. And I see where Ash is coming from. She brings drama. You don't have the addicts in your house. You don't get high on your own supply. You don't invite addicts into your space. See, this is some white people hood shit. I don't know. I don't I don't know. They're breaking some street rules here that are not in the black people hood shit. It's just messy. That's all. It's just really, really messy. It's not organized. I'm not saying that all black people hood shit is, organized, but this is just messy. This is a different type of mess. But anyway, so towards the end of the show, Fez is in a store. Lexi comes over because Lexi is going to be the bad bitch. This is going to be her first step in speaking up. And my thing is, girl, if you've never done it before, or you don't have a pattern of speaking up, maybe baby step it. Maybe, telling the waiter at the restaurant that you would like a different order, or, you know, making a request at a store or something. Like, don't start with, I'm gonna go tell this nigga that Nate's dad is trying to kill him. That's a big set. That's why she couldn't say shit when she walked in the store. Another reason is because Faye was there, so she felt a type of way because Faye was in the store and she thought Fez was fucking Faye. Fez and Faye. You know, if she wasn't, you know, and her lips are just, I think they're fake, but still, it's just like, I mean, like, they're not like lip injections. I think they're prosthesis to make it look, it looks like it hurts. Like you walking around like this. And then I just want to snatch them off her face. So she walk in and she see Faye. She was determined to tell Fez, and then she see Faye, and then she just gonna clam up and then stand over there and get Gatorade and shit. So she walking there looking like a snitch, basically, when Nate's dad walks in. And Nate's dad walks in, and I'm just like, because Nate's dad has a gun in his pocket, and Fez just looking at him. He asking all these stupid ass questions. Is this your store? Where's your parents? Why are you asking all these questions? Because he was about to get his shit blown off by Ash. Because Ash was, he copped that nigga when he first walked in the door. He was like, let me just go get our gun. He don't know I'm back here. So let me go get my shit. Because I think Ash is a little bit, we'll say conduct disorder, because conduct disorder is right before the age that you can be diagnosed with antisocial disorder, which is, you know, what we call sociopathy and stuff. Because we don't want to diagnose kids with sociopathy, so we start with ODD from like, I don't know, from like 5 to like 11 or some shit. Then from like 12 or 13 to like 18 or some shit, it's conduct disorder. If they're showing signs of an extreme violent behavior, lack of empathy, break criminal activities and things like that, it's all of it together, because people can do criminal shit and not be, you know, they care. It's just they live in that life and they don't see any other way out, like Fez. But no, I think Ash may have a little, he may be conduct disorder, because the way he hit that nigga in the head with that hammer, like he didn't even give a fuck, out of nowhere, and that nigga even do nothing. Ash Ketchum has conduct disorder, possibly. But, you know, that nigga's about to get his shit knocked off if he had did anything. So maybe he sensed it. Maybe there was an aura in the air of, you know, you about to get popped off if you do some shit. Or maybe it was just too many witnesses or too many cameras. Because, you know, Nate's dad is all about his image and shit like that. So, I don't know. But he walked his ass about that store. And then, you know, Fez looking at Lexi looking at Fez, and I think she left. I don't know. But Lexi looking like a snitch, like she let that nigga there, because she come in first, being all quiet, looking at 40s and shit. Like,
need help finding anything?
No, I'm okay.
Oh, that's the malt liquor.
Yeah, I know.
bitch, you don't drink 40s. And so, you know, yeah, so we'll see what happens with Fez and Nate's dad. And apparently Nate tells Nate's dad, or Nate's, so when Nate's dad gets home and Nate is there, he asks Nate, like, can you tell me why some gangbanger at the liquor store beat your ass? And Nate was just like, well, because he saw you raping a child on the video. And Nate's dad is all like, oh. So basically he told his dad that he saw all the videos, he know what the fuck he doing, and that other people know. And that other people told other people. And so Nate's dad's like, where's the DVD? Where's the DVD? And Nate's just standing there smiling, like, cause he know Maddie took the DVD. So Maddie took the DVD. She's seen the DVD, and she's sitting up here wanting to still be with this nigga, seeing that his dad is raping children. Go off, sis. I don't know. They're children. They're children. They don't. I have to give it to them because they're children. They're adult actors acting like children. This is how children act. So they don't know the seriousness of certain things. And they think certain things are okay. And they can be easily groomed into thinking certain things are okay. So, So, make sure I didn't forget anybody. We did Cassie, we did Maddie, we did Kat, we did Lexi, we did Fez. Okay, so we can do the two main characters. I think that's it. If I missed anybody, let me know. Um, Rue is out here sneak getting high with this nigga Elliot, lying to Jules and shit. I don't think she likes him like that, but I think Elliot likes her because he had a moment on the couch with this girl. I don't know if it was his mom, his sister, his whatever. But the girl was all like, I ain't never seen you invite nobody into this house. He was just like, she's just a friend. I ain't never seen you invite a friend into this house. He was just like, bitch, whatever. So, and he knows that it's toxic. He even said, I don't think we're good for each other. And Rue's just like, well, maybe I like that. So Rue may like him. Rue may just want somebody to get high with. Rue out here lying. And then she shows up to NA high. Eli, is his name Eli? Her sponsor knows she's high, but he's not gonna judge her because he's been there before. He can't say nothing. At least she showed up. That's what I always say to people. Baby steps sometimes look like you just showing up, even if you're at your worst. I've had clients show up to therapy and sit there for an hour and just not say shit. I'll just be like, well, at least you showed up. You took a step. You got up out your bed after a week of being depressed. And you said, I'm going to come to this office and I'm going to sit here. Okay, well, we'll do that for a few sessions and see what happens. I'll put some music on and maybe we'll meditate. We'll meditate for the whole session. I might doze off a little bit because, if I meditate for too long, I go to sleep. But you wasn't going to say shit anyways. That's all I'm saying. You weren't going to say anything anyway. So if I fall asleep and you fall asleep and we fell asleep for an hour, it's whatever. It's still therapeutic. We meditated and we relaxed to the max. There you go. Sleep is the relaxation to the max. Leave me alone. I never fell asleep before. I think I almost did one time when we were meditating for like 45 minutes and I was just like, I gotta stay awake, but gotta stay. I don't fall asleep in sessions. Leave me alone. I'm here to help people. So we're out here just sneak getting high. And so at least she showed up to NA. She didn't have to show up. And then her mentor, sponsor, Eli, whatever his name is, some Muslim name, I forgot what it was, wanted to meet her mom, which is, I'm surprised her mom ain't asked to meet this nigga first. Like, the fuck? He was like, and she was like, what do you mean you want to meet my mom? And he was like, well, if a 50-something-year-old crackhead was driving me around by driving my daughter around by herself, I would fucking want to meet this person. And she was just like, I guess, but like, are you gonna, and she didn't get the words out. He did. He was like, I'm not gonna tell her that you're high. And so they go in the house and they talking and all this other stuff. And she just getting one over on Jules. And I'm just like, but like, Jules is that's her bread and butter. Like, she know, like, that's what her mom did probably and shit like that. I'm sure there were happy moments with her mom. That's what pisses you off the most. That's probably why she hates her mom the most, because there were happy moments where things looked like they were getting better, and then mom fell back into addiction until it got to the point where she couldn't trust mom anymore. And so, that's basically what Rue's doing. So it's going to be some major fallout. Some bullshit's probably going to happen later on in the season. From these previews, this shit look like it's about to hit the fan. This shit look crazy. Jules, on the other hand, is being overly clingy, jealous. Not overly. I'm not even going to say that, because in the beginning of the episode, when they're standing in the hallway and Elliot walks up and says hi to Rue, and Rue is obviously lying about how she knows Elliot. I mean, I think Jules was justified in being suspicious. But that shit hit her hard. Like, she acted like she just caught them two fucking. Like, she went into the bathroom and was crying. And it was just like, oh, Jules, girl. We talked about Jules got a love addiction. She gets attached to the fantasy of what things could be. And it's hard for her to see the reality of things. She worries that Rue is going to become addicted again. She worries that she's going to be the cause of Rue becoming addicted again. And it's like, no, Rue's already doing drugs. You had nothing to do. You being here or not being here has nothing to do with Rue doing drugs, girl. And she doesn't realize that, because, you can logically know something, but that doesn't stop your stomach from hurting when you experience or think about it. That doesn't stop you from having anxiety attacks when you experience it or think about it. That doesn't stop you from being super depressed when you experience it or think about it. So yeah, you can logically know some shit, but then your body and your emotions have to get in line too, and that takes work. So she's not there yet. So she feels some type of way, and Rue's just like, well, he's just a friend. I don't know what you're talking about. So anyways, Rue tells Jules that she has NA tonight, and that's why she can't come over. Really, she's going over to Elliot's house to do lines and shit and smoke weed, and then she's going to go to NA. So Jules believes her that she's just going to NA, and so Jules goes and bowls with Maddie and Kat and Ethan. And Jules, that's when she's talking to Maddie, talking about, oh, well, everybody's relationship is different. Everybody needs something different in their relationship or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, Jules, this nigga beat her. but they're children. They don't all this shit seems simple and like, oh, this is what couples are supposed to do. And so I can't even, if they were grown and had been through years of therapy and worked through shit and they were still doing shit like this, and I could be like, but no, they're children. They're playing children. They're playing children very well, because this is how high schoolers act. They feel invincible. They feel on top of the world. They feel like nothing can ever hurt them. They romanticize every fucking thing. And this is me going back to my high school years, and also the children that I've worked with. They're not adults in the brain. Like, people be looking at high schoolers and being like, well, she was 16. Like, bitch, she's a child in the head. She can't comprehend the complexities of this situation and the emotions that can arise from this situation. She just thinks that before it happened, she probably thought it was going to be some beautiful, magical thing. And then when it happened, it wasn't. And then she had to kind of process that, not really understanding the complexities of what's happening with her. Like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? These are children. They don't understand the complexities of the things that they're experiencing at this point in time. They're just reactive. They're reacting to things. They're in that developmental period where you're just reacting to things and you're not thinking things through, and you're not processing through your emotions and understanding what's happening to you and all this other shit. So yeah. I mean, this is just kind of like a preliminary beginning of what's to come in this show. Like I said, it looks like shit is about to get wild. Episode 2 is tomorrow. I'm gonna upload this tomorrow because I need to find some clips. The one good thing about waiting a week is that then there's clips to upload to add to the video, and I don't have to just sit here with me just talking. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't have much to say because this is the beginning, but this kind of sets the ground for what's going on with all the characters, rather than just last episode. We already kind of had an idea what was going on with Rue and Jules, but we didn't have an idea what was going on with everybody else in the show. So basically, just like the little featurette shows that they have for Rue and Jules, this kind of just laid the groundwork, the foundation for it. This is where we're starting at with all the rest of the characters, and we're just gonna see what happens. Will Cassie and Nate figure some shit out and be in some toxic weird ass relationship? Will Maddie beat Cassie's ass and end up in a trauma bond with Nate? Will Nate eventually murder somebody? Will Nate's dad eventually murder somebody? I'm waiting for them to murder somebody. I am sitting here waiting for them to murder somebody. They are giving me murdery vibes, and they do murdery like things, like when Nate met Jules in the damn middle of nowhere in the swamps and shit. And I thought he was going to kill her. That was going to be the last we saw of Jules. But no, he just be doing murder type shit all the way up until the point, and then being like, no, I need to actually have a conversation with you. Like with Cassie, I was like, why aren't you telling her where you're going? She's sitting in the car though, she's still there. She ain't opened the door and tried to roll out. So, no, I can't even with Cassie, because Cassie going through some shit. Nate just taking advantage of that shit. I refuse to put that all on Cassie. Like, oh, she could have decided and chose. And no, when you go through some shit over and over and over again, you think that's life. She's searching for this romantic fairy tale and these niggas that are abusive. oh, you just want me for my body and you'll stay with me, then I will give you my body and that's it, because that's what all niggas want, because I am a horrible person, so at least somebody wants me. And it is what it is. And then he's taking advantage of that because she doesn't say no. She doesn't even think to say no to things. She even was talking to Maddie about it. Like, I can't say no to stuff. And she was practicing with Maddie on how to say no. And she doesn't say no. Like, Nate, when she was at the party with Nate, she had a flashback and Nate was just like, so you want to go in the bathroom? Yes. So are you cool with me fucking and eating you out or whatever? She was like, yes. She doesn't have that switch that can just like shut off and just be like, nah, this isn't cool. I don't like this. She just wants to please. She wants to please people. She's a people pleaser. And so, Nate's taking advantage of that because he's a sociopathic narcissist. Something's wrong with him, because like, who sits online and pretends to be a whole other nigga and is talking to a bitch for like months, like he like putting all these fake ass emotions and shit, like mimicking real emotions. And then like threatens her and then tells her that she needs to like not say shit. So all that was so that she wouldn't say shit about your dad. Why didn't you just threaten her from jump? Because he wanted to collect fucking evidence and pictures and nudes of her and shit. And it's like, but my nigga, you would be the one posting it, so they can track your IP address and shit and find out that you were the one posting the pictures of her, and you would be the one getting in trouble for child pornography. Sir, what are you talking about? I just don't like Nate. He got his shit rocked, but he's still fucking shit up. Him and his dad is trash. They're just trash people. I don't care. I don't see any redemption arc. You gonna have to do a lot to redeem that nigga. I mean, he ain't murdered nobody yet, and he ain't raped nobody yet. So you know what? Until he does those things, there is a chance for a redemption. There is a slight chance for him to redeem himself. But doing some shit where you pretending to be some other nigga for months at a time and just driving somebody crazy and shit like that, that's some sociopathic shit. That's some like, I don't care how that made you feel. I don't care how that was my scheme so I could get evidence just in case you told on my dad. I don't care how that made you feel, like my nigga. Something's wrong with you. You got some issues. You need some intensive therapy work. But he can't even see outside of what he wants to see as far as how the world is working. He can't see outside. That's why he thinks Cassie is a princess on high that will do anything he wants. And that's all she is. And she's nothing else. And that's how he's going to treat her. That's why he didn't feel the need to answer her when she asked where were they going. Why should I answer you? You don't mean anything to me. You're nothing. Stop asking questions. Just do what I say. Like she's the perfect little robot that he can mold and model because her self-esteem is so low. But like, she's a whole ice skater. She has a whole talent of ice skating. There are things that she likes and dislikes, passions that she probably has that are all being stifled because of these toxic ass men that are taking advantage of her. And yes, she should be on top of her own self, but if she's never experienced it before, dad getting high, dad leaving, dad having addictions and shit like that, it's hard to just start somewhere with advocating for yourself when you've never done it before. It's hard to do that. Like you asking somebody, oh, here's a bike, ride it. I've never rode a bike. I don't care, ride the bike, but I've never ride the fucking bike. You should ride, you should know how to ride, but I've never rode. I don't care. Like the fuck, don't do that to people in their mental health. If you ain't never done some shit before, you ain't never advocated, you ain't never did a meditation before. Like that shit, nothing that I've ever started the first time has come to me easy. Usually what makes people change is that they hit rock bottom and it hurts too much. And it has to hurt too much for Cassie. Now, I always say you don't have to struggle to learn some shit. But struggling helps sometimes. Mistakes, you learn lessons from those things and you learn consequences. Sometimes it's vicarious mistakes, like all through high school. I wasn't partying and drinking and going over to house parties and doing that because I watched Lifetime movies and saw people get date raped and shit like that. And I was like, I don't want to. I'm just going to sit in my room and read romance novels and be depressed. That's fine. I don't need to go outside. That's a whole different story. But but I didn't get date raped in high school. And it made me more cautious when I was in college and I did go to some parties. I didn't leave my drink anywhere. Made sure that I stayed around the people that I came with and went home with the people that I came with. All those things that you do to stay safe. I learned that from Lifetime. I didn't have to experience it. So some things you don't have to experience. Some things happen because of the path that your life is going down and you not doing anything to stop it. No one around you that cares about you doing anything to help you. And that's the case with Cassie. Her mom's neglectful. She's an alcoholic and she's neglectful. Addiction just is permeating this show. It's not just Rue. Cassie's mom is an alcoholic. Cassie's dad was a heroin addict. Jules is a love addict. Jules' mom is an alcoholic. Rue is she does various different drugs. Yeah. But the thing is, addiction often goes with mental health because you're trying to numb whatever hurts inside. And you want that quick relief and it doesn't work like that. Like, that's why you have to keep upping the dose because your tolerance goes up and you have to keep numbing yourself because every time you're high, all the thoughts come back. Ruth's still on her mission of suicide. That's what Eli, I think his name is Eli, her mentor, was talking about when she was at NA. What she was talking about basically in the little featurette of how she just wants to die. I think she wants to die by accident, by overdose, because some people aren't capable of doing it outright like that. It's too frightening to do it outright like that. So they want to die vicariously through overdosing or walking across the street with my eyes closed. If a car hits me, it hits me. If it don't, it don't. Shit like that. And that's what she's doing. She's vicariously just wants to die, but she doesn't want to just outright do it, which may save her life. So, I'm going to put a little suicide hotline thing because, Regina King's son killed himself today. And I just feel like a type of way about going on social media now because every time I see someone's picture on the Shade Room or some shit like that, I'm just like, did Beyonce die? Like, who's next? And I just feel so upset. That was her only son. They were like this. They were bonded. They were close to each other. And God bless her. God bless you, Regina King. I hope that, you find healing and peace in this world because that's some horrible ass shit. I'm sorry. That's some horrible ass shit. It is. God bless. So I'm put the suicide hotline because they talk about suicide a lot in this show, and I don't want people to be out here, I want people to have information because this is a triggering ass fucking show. I had some clients talk about this show over the week and how it triggered them, and I was just like, you gotta step back. You can't be watching this show like that if it's too triggering. You gotta stay away. That's why I sit around and watch anime and cartoons all day because you just gotta get away from that shit and just watch some wholesome, happy shit, some goofy shit. Sit up here and watch South Park all day and some shit. Just do things to help you. We're not all fighters. We're not all freedom fighters. Some of us just out here trying to survive. And so if you're not out there, you don't have the emotional energy to be out there marching and doing all this other stuff and lobbying and going to the government. That takes us a whole lot of energy, especially if you have a disability, a mental health disorder and stuff like that. Then, do what you need to do to relax. Do what you need to do. I be getting massages, periodically. I be going to the spa. I be doing anything I can do to find relaxation in this world because this shit is trash. People just, in 1 month, we lost Louis Anderson. You remember that cartoon, Life with Louis? Nigga, what? God bless him. I know he was old, but 70 something ain't that fucking old. Nigga, it's just like, nigga's supposed to be dying at 90. Damn near 100. Not no fucking early 70s and shit. People can still walk around and think and do things and shit at that age. Like, the fuck, I'm tired. God bless us all. I know it's kind of ended on a morbid thing, but it's not Insecure. Girl, I'm still thinking about that show. I know. So upset. Euphoria is a morbid ass show, so it is what it is. So hopefully we get some kind of happy ending with somebody on this fucking show by the end of the season. So like I said, shit look like it's about to get wild. But anyways, I hope you liked this review. Hope it was helpful and therapeutic and all the magical things. And later days.